How's it going, everybody? Ryebread here today, and we are here with NHL 23, our first franchise mode. The game just released a few hours ago. I did not wait up until midnight. Some of you may have, though, and I hope you are enjoying it. And I hope you guys get a chance to really dive in this year. I've had a lot of fun with the gameplay from what I've played in the technical test and a couple games I played before recording this. I felt like I should get my hands on the controller for a minute and just dive back into Chell because it's been a while. But guys, thank you so much for being here. We are on the road to 4,000 subscribers, and I'd like to get there before the end of the year. So if you guys can help me out with that push, that would be tremendously I'd be tremendously grateful for that. But I am not going to hide the team we're doing. I know sometimes I've done that in the past and people do that, but you clicked on the video because you saw who we are taking over. I've had a lot of requests for this over the offseason, and I even had some at the end of last season due to over the summer. We will be taking over as general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers. And I will be trying to keep this rebuild as realistic as possible. I'm going to give you guys some logic and some justification every time I make a trade, every time I make a signing. And then obviously the draft, I would just draft whoever I think is the best player because that's pretty realistic. But we will try not to fleece the computer too much. I know some of you may disagree with my logic, but as long as you can understand how I got to where I got, I think we'll have a very, very good year. And this year, guys, I want to hear from you as much in the comment section. So let me know, are you planning on picking up 23? Have you picked up NHL 23? Or are you skipping this year because none of the deep dives really wowed you? I gotta say, I'm excited for franchise mode again, just because it's another year of franchise mode, but I'm really not digging the changes. But we're gonna do this, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna hopefully bring the Philadelphia Flyers out of whatever the heck they're doing. The Flyers were an interesting team to me just because I don't see where they're going. I mean, they're by far the worst team in their own division, and they're not getting better. They keep signing aging veterans on terrible deals, and it's one of those things that's going to make a realistic rebuild very challenging, and I'm pretty excited about it. But one thing we are going to do is turn off owner mode and turn off fog of war. We will leave player morale on, as this can impact storylines and players demand trades from our team or from other teams, and it also means that we just can't put 90 overalls on the third line. And well, if we get to that point, I've done something really well as the general manager here, but we are going to leave the salary cap on, allow the CPU to trade, and keep on player morale, as I just touched on. Other than that, I don't really care about the rest of this. Owner mode was an interesting thought. I can still change it. One thing I do want to know from you guys is, should I wait for the opening day rosters? The rosters right now are from October 4th. I don't think anything else has changed since then. Across the league, but we are going to leave injuries on as well. I would like to see how that goes. I could turn them off at some point in the future. The period length, I'm going to bump that up to 4 minutes. Fantasy draft off. Yep, all this stuff looks good. CPU trades on. Medium trade difficulty. Waivers we will leave on. The salary cap on. Draft pick ownership authentic. That's what we like. And then the fog of war is off. The auto scouting, there we go. And auto staff management off. Great. So the advanced settings that we want to use, I want to know when they're fully healed. I'll check if somebody's that important and we're in that kind of scenario where they're playable but not fully healed. I think that I will jump in myself and edit the lines, right? Like if it's a big last 3 games of the season and our number one player is a little bit hurt, banged up, I may have him play through it just to get into the playoffs kind of thing. But I don't want to play him in November if he's just playable. Either way, I think head coach firing, trade offer notifications. Well, yeah, this is all good to go. And we are all set here. Let's go ahead and jump in and see what the Philadelphia Flyers will be offering us to work with. And I actually took a look at the roster, and I don't think it's as bad as some of you may think. I know Flyers fans feel pretty down in the dumps right now, but I think honestly starting this before their season starts to tail off when the season starts, I think the ratings will be kind to us, I should say, before they really get hammered. But let's take a look. Let's go ahead and look at the lines. We'll look at the lines first, and then we'll look at the system, at the pipeline, and see what's going on here. No head coach. I do not want you here. And the big one here is Sean Couturier. Sean Couturier, 88 overall, elite potential, exact elite. He's right. He's 29. He's not growing anymore. Last season was out for the majority of the season. Then, he's had good seasons, pretty much point per game ish, just a little bit under, probably like 0.9 points per game. 20 to 30 goal scorer. When he plays a full season, it seems to be 30. When he doesn't, it's around 20. So He's a guy that, well, if he can maintain a 15% shooting percentage, I'm going to be a very happy general manager because I'm going to have a first-line center. Also taking a look at his stats here, he's got the 91 passing, the 90 offensive awareness, and the 89s, and the wrist shot accuracy and slap shot power, so upper 80s in the shooting. He's got a decent amount of physicality to him, 87 body checking, 89 strength. That's really, really good, actually. I don't know why. Oh, I do know why I'm in centimeters and kilograms. It's because I'm in New Zealand right now, and that's the only way I could get the game a day early, and I couldn't wait. But anyway, his speed is 88, and his acceleration is 88. Good endurance there as well, and really, really good on the defensive end. So this is a bona fide two-way centerman for us. He fits the first line pretty well too. That's something I've bet out of it mentally, but we need to get back into the chemistry mindset. And he's got 4 abilities: unstoppable force, magnetic, stick 'em up, and yoink. So a very, very strong puck possession and defensive minded centerman. And I love it, right? He's got currently no problems. And what's that last one? Is that the contract? Okay, that is the contract. I forgot now that I have Morale. There's the Morale and Morale log tabs. The next best guy probably is Travis Konechny, 178 centimeters, 79 kilogram, 25-year-old, medium top 6 potential. He is 84. He's a really, really solid player. I'd consider him more of a second line forward like the game does. Now, he does have those 2 X factors, which will help, but the 87 passing and 87 offensive awareness with the 87 defensive awareness means we've got another two-way forward that I can play in the top 6. Ideally, I'd like to get into a spot where Travis Konechny is a really, really good second liner for us, but at the current state of this Philadelphia franchise, he's a first line forward for us. He fits the third line really, really well. So his player preference is awful. Balance cycle, balance block. That's never going to be a top 6 forward. But moving on from him doesn't make sense for us. Especially if we're talking realistic. The current coach likes carry, shoot, efficient balance, which is always a solid top 6 chemistry style. But as far as his X Factor superstar abilities are tape to tape and crease crasher. So one of those guys that's going to help set up Sean Couturier, or maybe we find a sniper to put on this line. And when the sniper shoots and doesn't score, well, Travis Konechny can crash the crease and get us some of those greasy goals. You take them any way they come, but he's got 3 years left. At $5.38 million, which I think is a very solid deal for a guy like Travis Konechny. 52 points in 79 games, not a great season. He seemed to be really emerging. Had 2 solid seasons in 17-18, 18-19. Really broke out in 19-20. Had the COVID season with 50 games. He had 34 points. So again, 2 good seasons. And then last season was just kind of all around a shit show for the Philadelphia Flyers. But you can see his shooting percentage has decreased every year since that 19-20 season. So hopefully he can get back up into the 12-13 range. And I think we'll have a solid player there. And then playing alongside of them right now is Joel Farabee. He is 22 and he's got high top 6. He's got plenty of opportunity to grow. And I think I may want to play him on the second line just so he gets a bit more favorable matchup. Play him on the power play. He looks like a really good goal scorer for a two-way forward. But man, do we have a lot of defensive forwards on this team. And that kind of makes sense based on how the Philadelphia Flyers are building their team. No more Claude Giroux. Voracek now gone as well. James Van Riemsdyk's really the only guy left from that old guard, if you will. But just under $5 million for 6 years. I mean, we'll have him until he's 28. He's got the high top 6 potential. That's really, really good. And then the guy I was just mentioning, James Van Riemsdyk, I may put him on the top line just because he is a sniper. He's got the 88 wrist shot accuracy, the 86 slap shot accuracy. He's a pretty solid shooting category. His defense leaves a little bit to be desired for a first liner, but 85 defensive awareness is nothing to scoff at. Poor speed, though. But his passing and offensive awareness, again, a second line player, but, somebody that fits our first line perfectly, to be honest. And he's got 1 year left, I believe. What the heck? You can make a quick substitution now? They should have put that in the deep dive. You just push RB and I can quickly. Oh my God. That's honestly such a quality of life thing. Like, I can leave injuries on now because all I have to do is push the freaking RB button and I get one of the scratched players to come on the team here. Holy smokes. Anyway, Kevin Hayes and his contract. I know James Van Riemsdyk, like I said, I believe he's got 1 year. We'll preview contracts in a minute, but yeah, 1 year, just under $7 million. So play him on the first line, and then maybe I can flip him at the deadline for maybe a first, retaining half the salary. I don't see this team making the playoffs. I think we probably won't bottom out and tank. We're probably too okay. We're too mediocre for us to really bottom out. We'll probably be in that bottom 10, but not the bottom 5 kind of thing. But who knows? The sim has done weirder things. But Kevin Hayes here, he's got 4 years left at $7 million. It's not as bad as when it originally started. And he's an average player here. He's a power forward, so he'll get us some chemistry. 84 overall, second line forward. Maybe a guy that I can package and move him. I really don't see it happening, but I just got to live with it. I think, if we're doing a realistic rebuild, Kevin Hayes is going to be a flyer until he retires, unless he goes absolutely berserk and somebody offers me a trade. And that's something I do want you guys to mention as well. I know we're already 10 minutes into the video, but if we do get trade offers from the CPU and the GM calls me with an offer that I'm like, holy smokes, you want Kevin Hayes for a third? Like, take it, right? If they call me, can I make that trade? Because like, I'm not seeking that out. That's another GM AI, I know, but another GM calling me with an offer. And I feel like that would be realistic, right? I'd be like, oh, well, I never thought I'd get this, so I'm going to jump on it, right? Snatch at it. But something for you guys to decide down in the comments section there. And Cam Atkinson here, the final top 6 forward. Again, there's a lot of second liners. He's pretty solid, I gotta say. The 90 speed, 88 passing, 88 offensive awareness, 87s in the most part for his shooting category. And defensively, he's got a good awareness. Obviously, he's not going to be very physical at just 79 kilograms and 173 centimeters. That blows my mind. I think I want to see if I can fix that, and I'll be right back, guys. And there we go, guys. I'm back and I fixed it. My language was set to English New Zealand as well. Obviously, I set my console to New Zealand to get this early. But as you guys can see, we now get some good feet and pounds. So there we go. I mean, Cam Atkinson, 5'8", 174. I believe he was 79 kilograms. So if anybody wants to do the translation there you go. Just work from there. But then our third line is Noah Cates. I've honestly never really heard of this guy. Played a few games, was a positive player in Philadelphia last season for the 16 games that he did play. 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. Unfortunately, he's just a medium bottom 6 forward, but I mean, the shot power is pretty good. Physicality's all right, and looks to be an okay bottom 6er, to be honest. Scott Lawton here, another guy that's just a solid bottom 6er, probably our best third liner right now. And then Owen Tippett, one for the future, maybe. Has been saying that for a few years now for Owen Tippett, but he is still 23, and he's got a chance to break out still. He's got a really good shooting category. Offensive awareness and passing are good, so pretty offensive player here. Maybe somebody I'd like to move up the lineup. Not sure where I would get the space to move him up, right? He's kind of feels like he's glued to that third line role, but we'll see how he pairs with Scott Lawton and Noah Cates. Nicholas Delorier, the good old grinder here on the fourth line. Not much to say there. Morgan Frost, 23, medium top 6 though. Could be a guy that maybe we flip-flop him with Cates, because Cates feels like he would work better with Delorier and Zach McEwen, who's also a grinder. So Noah Cates is a two-way forward. Looks to be pretty solid. I honestly, I like the idea of having Noah Cates on the team. No idea if he's going to be on the team long-term, but hey, we'll see. Now, looking at the blue line, we've got Travis Sanheim and Ryan Ellis, which is really a pretty solid 1-2 punch there on the top line. Ivan Provorov and Tony DeAngelo. Tony DeAngelo, a lot of controversy surrounding him. I don't think we're going to be able to move him, and they also just gave him a butt ton of money. So, a good offensive defenseman, and we're going to ignore that, and we'll see if he causes a storm in the locker room during our conversations. And then we've got Cam York. Honestly, a really promising offensive defenseman here as well. Good slap shot power, pretty good passing and offensive awareness. Defensively, looks pretty solid too. 87 stick checking, 85 defensive awareness. Like I said, guys, this team is not as bad as you may think in Shell. When it comes to the real world hockey, I don't think the Philadelphia Flyers are going to be very good this season. I think they're in a kind of a really tough spot. They'll be mediocre, but not good enough to be a bottom 5 team, I don't think. But and then, of course, one Rasmus Ristolainen, who is always overpaid and has finally been found out that he's not that good. They finally decided not to give him elite potential and not to make him an 86 now that he's off the Sabres. The whole world got to see Rasmus Ristolainen be a pretty mediocre third pairing defenseman, a guy that can put up offense in sheltered minutes. But they seem to just think he's a minute-eating dominator, which he's absolutely not. But you can see he still can do a job for us in Shell. 85 passing, 84 offensive awareness, 85 defensive awareness, 87 stick checking, average skating, and a pretty physical player to boot. So realistically, I don't know. This blue line doesn't have much to go off of. I mean, Cam York, Ivan Provorov here in the medium elite. I mean, he's got one more year's worth of growth, but I don't know if he's going to get there. Playing him on the top pairing might help get him there. I don't know if anybody else, because Ellis matches perfectly. We saw that. Yep, Travis Sanheim. Tony DeAngelo matches perfectly as well. So if we wanted to go righty and lefty, we could do that just to get the +1s, but I don't think it's worth it personally. And then here's the new team strategy screen, which is honestly so nice to see that it's right in here, right? We can see that our coach, Cesar Veilleux, I don't know if I'm going to be able to say that name every time, but Caesar here likes the 2-3-4 check, and you can see what the 2-3-4 check is, and I can quickly get to my coaching info. Oh my God. You know, honestly, EA, if you just told me these little quality of life things weren't here during the game modes deep dive, I would have felt a lot better about the changes in franchise mode, right? You only showed off custom leagues, which is cool and all, but I'm never going to use it. Maybe once or twice in the summer, but right now, this kind of thing, like, he likes puck side attack. He likes collapsing. He likes the trap forecheck. He likes the 1-4 in the neutral zone. Oh, God, we got one of these guys. Great. All right. But offensively, he likes to pressure, aggressive pressure. Controlled breakout is 3 high, and a quick breakout is leave the zone early. So not bad strategies there, offensively and defensively. But we'll take a look at the goaltending now, and obviously, you guys know who it is. It's Starter Hart. It's Carter Hart. 85 overall, high elite potential at just 24 years old. Had a rough couple of seasons. Last season was a little bit better, bouncing back in the right direction where he was when he first broke into the NHL. I think putting a better team in front of him obviously is going to help any goalie, but I especially think we need to get a solid defense in front of Carter Hart. Just because at 24 and 85, if we can boost that per save percentage and goal against average and maybe build a defensive style team here in Philadelphia, I think it'll help Carter Hart reach his full potential just because he'll get the statistical growth. He won't be getting shelled every night, and he might be able to hit that high elite potential, and we'll have a goalie forever. But he's just got 2 years left at $3.87 million. So that's concerning, considering he'll be 26 and he'll be probably pretty good by then with a high elite potential. And it worries me about how much we're going to pay him, but I probably will pay Carter Hart because I can't afford to let him go. As far as other guys on the team, Justin Braun is the other interesting name here. Really does fit the second pairing quite well. So if we wanted to send somebody down, well, I wouldn't send down an 81 or an 82, but I think we could trade one of those guys in the coming future in Justin Braun, and he can also step in when injuries occur as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the power play. You guys can see the new power play. Oh man, that's so nice. Farabee, and you can just look at, that's beautiful. Left defenseman, or I could substitute them or quick swap here, and there they are. That's so nice. And then we can edit the strategies here as well, and you can see the distributor, finisher, and puck carrier. The finisher, Couturier is okay. So Couturier is the in front of the net guy right now. So we can change that. We can't change the power play formation. No, thank you. Because that is set by our coach, but we can change the face-off formation to aggressive, to defensive, or to normal. So on the power play, I'd probably want to be aggressive. And then we can change who takes the face. Oh my God. Oh, that's beautiful. Like this is the little stuff that like makes the game that much more immersive and mimicking real life a bit. So you guys can see we can edit the lines here and flip these guys wherever we want them to go. So Sean Couturier is the in front of the net guy right now, which I don't think is a bad idea. He's got the magnetic, which could be good, and then connect me with the crease crasher, right? Tape to tape. And if you had a 1T kind of guy here, you could put him here instead of DeAngelo. Obviously, I would like DeAngelo to be quarterbacking and James Van Riemsdyk the left-handed shot. Connect me the right-handed shot, so we'll flip-flop those guys. And look at how easy that is, guys. That's honestly, it's beautiful. I love it. Oops, and I just backed out of there, so something I'm going to do a lot probably as I get used to navigating these menus. But that is just honestly such a nice quality of life improvement. And I would like the distributor to be DeAngelo, the quarterback of the power play. Players will try to get the puck to DeAngelo on the power play to create scoring chances. The main shooter on the power play, players will look the puck to get Konechny on the power play for shot opportunities, and the puck carrier is leaned on to gain the offensive zone, is responsible for distributing the puck on a rush, carrying the puck into the zone, or dumping it. And I think Couturier makes perfect sense, right? And I think the finisher, we can shift things towards Konechny's way because we want Konechny to grow more so than we want James Van Riemsdyk. Or I could have us try and look for Jiver to really boost his trade value, right? That's another option we could have there. But the face-off formation, we can change this here too. For example, if we wanted, Tony DeAngelo not there, but swap that like that, and then Travis Konechny's there. DeAngelo's the furthest man back, and we're good to go. And so you can see Konechny's now up closer to the circle, and then we go back here, and Konechny's still the left-hand guy, right? So, for example, we can just take Farabee, flip-flop him with Konechny because Farabee's going to be in the house, and Konechny's going to be here anyway. So I'd like to have Konechny stay there. James Van Riemsdyk, maybe flip-flop him with Farabee because Farabee is going to be there so he can crash and whatnot. So I love the fact that I get to do this and edit that. And those of you that play your games are going to absolutely love that. Power play line 2, we can change from here. They obviously don't like the way things are looking right now, -1, but whatever. And then 4-man power play. Okay, so now we will flip to the penalty kill. And you can see our penalty kill formation is a 1-1-2 right now. Scott Lawton being the pressure guy. Kate's in the middle, and Ristolainen and DeAngelo obviously back there. Face-off formation, I would like to say defensive. I don't think it makes a difference, really. It's just going to be, I think defensive makes the most sense. Man, the strategies, it's that little bit of immersion. We have 3 penalty killing lines now. I've been asking for that. We have 3 penalty killing lines. Let's go, finally. Because you never see NHL teams just roll out 2 pairings of forwards and defensemen to kill penalties. They have 3 generally because it is a pretty exhausting experience to kill a penalty in the National Hockey League. So having a 3rd line, oh, that's beautiful. Plus, we get more guys, more ice time throughout the season, and really values those bottom sixers too. So the extra lines that we got, our 4-on-4 lines, our 3-on-3 lines. Obviously, we can't change the strategies here. The extra attacker is Sean Couturier and maybe Ryan Ellis. And then in the shootout, it's DeAngelo, Atkinson. I think it's DeAngelo, Couturier, Atkinson, Ellis, Konechny, I think is how it goes. I can never remember which way it's supposed to go. It's DeAngelo, Atkinson. We'll fix that later on. But for now, I'm pretty happy with some of the changes, those little things that just make it a bit more immersive. And I can't wait to dive in for you guys here. And I know this video is already over 20 minutes, but I'm quite enjoying these new little, it's not something that I know EA promoted and puts out there, but it's like, man, when you pick up the game and you get to see that, like, that's something I've been asking for years. And yes, I would still love GM Connected versus the team strategy update, but it's just nice to have the team strategy update. But taking a look at our team and our trade values, Couturier is obviously our most valuable player with Ellis, Provolov, Farabee, DeAngelo, Konechny. Yeah, there's not a lot of guys here that aren't already in the NHL, but we have here Tyson Forster, the medium top 6, 73 at age 20. I believe I've heard this name before, and I can't exactly tell you why. You can see he's played okay in the AHL. He's never been anything special in the AHL. And at 20, I'm worried about his ability to make the league. As well as Bobby Brink here. 21 years old, 75 overall, medium top 6. Could be somebody that gets to be a 3rd liner someday. And then we've got Ratcliffe here. Isaac Ratcliffe, 23. Really probably not somebody to look out for. So the pipeline is kind of decimated. There's not really a lot of young up-and-coming potential here. Nobody that I would say, hey, we definitely need to focus on their development. Now, these top 3, maybe Forster, Brink, and Ratcliffe, specifically Brink and Forster, I think they could be NHLers someday, but really, there's not a lot of high potential in this system. So something we're going to have to focus on. And then taking a look at the draft picks, we don't have a 2nd round pick because I believe it went to the Buffalo Sabres, if I recall correctly. I think it did. That was part of the Risto trade. So, but we do have a 1st, 2 3rds, 2 4ths, a 5th, 6th, and a 7th. Maybe we can pick up a 2nd, or maybe we can pick up a 2nd first later on. Goaltending wise, also looks pretty thin. So behind Carter Hart, we've got Sandstrom. The 25-year-old, we might want to just go out and sign a backup goaltender guy. We really, honestly, I may check out free agency and see who's still out there. I know it wasn't a very good free agent class for goaltenders, but out there still is Jason Robertson. He did just sign his contract, so that's something I could edit in there, slash, you know, wait for the update if you guys want to. Sonny Milano out here as well would be a perfect guy for us to go after. I don't know if we will. I don't know. He might have actually signed in real life. I feel like he signed a PTO or something. But Nick Hag here, also an RFA, it looks like, for Vegas. Yeah, he is. We'll take a look at the goaltenders, though. I'm looking for a backup. Braden Holtby, still unsigned, surprisingly, and he'd be the perfect bridge backup until we can find somebody else. Nobody else really worthwhile going after. He might still be out there. I'm not sure. You guys should let me know down in the comments. I'm not going to claim I know every single transaction here, but those are the players to look out for. We really don't have a pipeline here, guys. Like, we really don't. And it might be best to tear it down. I mean, I'd like to move on from James Van Riemsdyk, but I don't think anybody's going to want him without me retaining salary. And I think, you know, it could be a good first glance to do here in the first episode, right? What could we get for a guy like, oh God, James Van Riemsdyk? Okay. Find a trade. Does anybody want him? The Anaheim Ducks want him for Nathan Beaulieu and a 4th. Derek Grant or a 6th. Beaulieu and a... Why? Just because you reverse the order, Anaheim, doesn't make me forget that you also offered a 4th. Anyway, the Anaheim Ducks really want James Van Riemsdyk. The Coyotes are willing to offer a 3rd and a 7th. The Sabres are offering Malcolm Subban in a 4th or Craig Anderson in a 7th. That's not realistic at all. I know they would never trade Craig Anderson, and I wouldn't want to trade for Craig Anderson, but it could get us the backup goalie. I'd still rather have Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Riley Sheahan, yeah, Zemgus Girgensons, and the Chicago... Yeah, okay. So what I could end up doing is making my own trade where I retain half of his salary and maybe we pick up a 2nd from a contender, right? Taking a look at a team that has the cap space to take on $3.5 million-ish of James Van Riemsdyk's salary. Taking a look at overall here, he's an 83. There he is, James Van Riemsdyk. So they do want him. And like if I retain half of his salary, that would put him at, I think like I said, it's 3.3-ish million, 3.4. And there it is, 3.432. And you can see some, like the Bruins want him. They probably couldn't afford him with the cap space. The Sabres wouldn't trade for him. They're not in that kind of buy now mode. The Blackhawks aren't either, but you know, some of these teams that might be contending, the Oilers could be a team. Like none of these teams really have the cap space to do anything about it. The Nashville Predators have their 2nd round pick is on the block and they want James Van Riemsdyk. Like something like that. They would be over the league maximum salary cap, and I would have to take on somebody worth like $1 million back, just a cap throw in. And you know, we could go after a guy like Sonny Milano in free agency, and all of a sudden I think we put ourselves in a pretty good position. Although if you guys don't believe this to be realistic, then I will put that in my back pocket and chew on it. But I feel like James Van Riemsdyk, he did get that buzz as a potential trade candidate. Now I don't think the Philadelphia Flyers ideas matched up with the teams that were offering, you know, teams that were like, hey, we'll take on the salary if you give us a pick. And Philadelphia's like, no, we want assets back for him. And it was just kind of one of those, yeah, no, it's just not going to work. But we could make it work now that GM Ryebread is in town. So you guys let me know. But this was our first episode 0, I guess I'd say. I love breaking down the team, and I love talking with you about what could happen in this franchise mode. And I hope you guys are enjoying it and are here for the ride. And if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see some more, and I will see you guys in the next one.
This a free for all, before we fall. This a free for all,